Hey everybody, it's React TCG. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. Um, when I originally picked the name React TCG, it was for two reasons. One, I knew I was going to be reacting to videos, so I wanted to have React or something along those lines in there. And I chose TCG because I love trading card games. But when I first came up with the idea, I was thinking, is this gonna lock me into just trading card stuff? So I thought up a gimmick, which is why I do the whole, we're opening up a pack of videos, 5 videos every time I record, calling my uh, short videos singles, like a single copy of a card, stuff like that. Um, but I was sitting here, oh, sorry. I was sitting here and I was thinking, if I'm gonna have if I'm gonna have TCG in the name, I might as well show off my love for trading card games. And I figured the best way to do that is to start off by showing off my Yu-Gi-Oh deck. So that's what this video is gonna be about. This is my deck box. Pretty cool one. I bought it online somewhere. It came with some card sleeves too. But nothing too special. Just got a cool design on it. Dark Magician Karibo. This is my main deck. These are obviously the card sleeves that they're in. I have card sleeves for that match my deck box, but the material they're made out of makes them like really sticky when they're in the box for a really long time, all pushed together, so they stick together, and then it causes problems, and the cards stick together, they're hard to shuffle. So I decided to swap them and use them for my extra deck instead. And then I went and I bought like a one-piece starter deck because I saw that they had one-piece cards and that they were in English and stuff now and being sold in Canada. And I was like, that's awesome. And they came with this pack of sleeves here. And I mean, I don't really have anyone to play One Piece with. I don't really have anyone to play Yu-Gi-Oh with, but I have more people I can play Yu-Gi-Oh with than One Piece. So I just decided to use the sleeves for my Yu-Gi-Oh deck instead of my One Piece deck. Anyway, let's get into it. Time to show off my deck and, have everyone roast me in the comments. Obviously, as you can tell from the first card, this is going to be a Blue Eyes deck. It's not a full Blue Eyes deck. I'll get more into that as we go along. But Blue Eyes is definitely one of the main stars. This is just one copy. I've got 3, but each one has a different picture. This one is my favorite because it's got the original card design from the TV show, which is really cool. Then we got the trap card True Light. Obviously, this is because I've got Blue Eyes in my deck. Helps me special summon them out and play my spells and traps that mention my Blue Eyes. For those who don't know, the picture is actually a reference to the show. That's the stone tablet that the Blue Eyes White Dragon is on. Which, in the original Yu-Gi-Oh, that's what they all were. They were ancient stone tablets from Egypt that Pegasus designed the cards off of. Another Blue Eyes card here, Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. And we've got my Ultimate Fusion. This is good for making any fusion with a Blue Eyes White Dragon in it, but also specifically the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I don't use the Ultimate Dragon. I'll get to my extra deck later, but I do use a version of it, and this is really helpful making like blue eyes fusions and stuff. This is what I was talking about. It's not a it's like a Dragonmaid slash Blue Eyes deck. One, because I like dragons, so I wanted to make I wanted to have more than just Blue Eyes in there, even though Blue Eyes is my favorite dragon. Um, but also because Kaiba was my favorite character. So when I did making a deck originally, I based sort of off of his deck, his Blue Eyes and his dragons. Um, but then when the Dragon Maids came out, I was like, that would be perfect if that had been out when when Kaiba was like part of the show. That would have been a perfect deck for him. He's rich. He loves dragons. Like Dragon Maids would have been perfect, turning from servants into badass dragons. So I implemented them in my deck. We got Parlor Dragon Maid here, which I don't think I said the last name of the last monster. Sorry. This is Dragon Maid low par, obviously. Which, for those of you who don't know, the Dragon Maid cards, Parlor and low par. You see, they took the last part of the name and made it the first part of the name, and the first part of the name, the last part of the name for their dragon forms. It's kind of neat. We got Mage Power. Most people don't. I'm pretty sure nowadays because of the meta. I don't really follow the meta. To me, I get why there's a meta. You know, every time there's a game, there's going to be a best way to win that game. That's going to be the meta. I just don't like how obsessed some people are with the meta. Like, to me, the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh, or like any card game, but especially Yu-Gi-Oh, is designing your own deck, coming up with your own combos. And yes, I know no combo or deck is fully original, but coming up with your own playstyle, using the cards you like, to me that was what got me into Yu-Gi-Oh. And now everyone's just, oh, what hand trap is the best? What combo can kill my opponent before they can ever play a card? Like, that's not how I don't want to play the game like that. I want to actually play the game. I want to know I won because I actually came up with a better strategy than my opponent, not because I copied the deck of the best guy in the world. Anyways, the reason I was bringing that up is not a lot of people apparently use spells and traps. I do. So Mage Power is really good. Gives me a big boost when I've got some cards on the field. Card Destruction. I'm not a great deck builder, so I do have the occasional brick. This helps with that. But more importantly, the reason I have it is, as you'll see later on in my deck, I like having monsters like Blue Eyes in the graveyard. Because I like being able to bring them. I have cards that can bring them back, and it's way easier to summon them that way than try and summon them from my hand and stuff. It actually works with the Dragon Maids too, because they can transform into their dragon forms whether they're in the graveyard or in the hand. So if I discard some of my Dragon Maids, I can draw the other forms and transform them back anyways, and it won't matter that they're in the graveyard. Mirror Force, classic protection. Another Dragon Maid here. We got Chamber Dragon Maid. This is actually a newer edition. I haven't used it really. At first I wasn't going to use it, but I read its effect and it sounded a bit more useful for how I play and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'll get it. And it goes, I chose it mostly or partly too because it goes with this one, which was another recent edition, Dragon Maid Charamba or whatever. But it was pretty. I like having both forms of the dragons, their human forms and their dragon forms. Got Mausoleum of White, a field spell for blue eyes, white dragons, and blue eyes cards and stuff like that. I guess technically it's for light monsters and like normal monsters, but come on. With a name like Mausoleum of White and the design in this, like look at that. Like, we obviously know what it's meant for. Vanguard of the Dragon. Just some extra attack power here. Plus I can send dragons from my hand to the graveyard, which I just talked about. I like having my dragons in the graveyard. And by doing so, I can increase his power even more. We've got Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon. I have a lot of high-level monsters in my deck, which makes it even easier to summon this guy, because you only have to sacrifice one level 5 or higher monster if you use his effect. Plus, his effect can deal some pretty good damage to my opponent. Another Dragonmaid. Nurse Dragonmaid this time around. Pretty sure I've got every Dragonmaid in my main deck. There's like nurse, parlor, chamber, kitchen, laundry. Dragonmaid Ernest, which is obviously the dragon form of the Dragonmaid nurse that we just saw. Dragon Shrine. I remember when I used this, when I was teaching my friend how to play the game, and I started using this, he was always so confused at first why I was just sending my dragons to the graveyard using this. But, you know, as I've explained, it makes sense. Oh, here's my second Blue Eyes White Dragon card. It's got a different design, like I said, but works the same as the other one. Dictator of D. I used to use Lord of D and then King of D, but Dictator of D works pretty good. I think I might still have King of D in there. Yeah, because he doesn't count as Lord of D like King of D does. But I have him for his effect, and because I have some stuff that works with like dragons or spellcasters. Kitchen Dragonmaid. Just another Dragonmaid. For those of you who don't know, Dragonmaids, they have weak forms like this, where they're human. You play these, they do an effect, and then during the battle phase, either the beginning of the battle phase or the end of the battle phase, you can transform. Is it beginning or end of battle? Hold on. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's how it works. So the human forms at the start of, or is at the start of the battle phase. They transform into which, you know, obviously if you're entering a battle phase, you want to deal damage. So then you would send this to the grave, and either from, no, back to your hand? No, back to your hand. Send this, yeah, back to your hand. And then you, sorry, it's been a while since I've had to play. And, I always forget if it's, the effect is printed the exact same way or if it's like opposite, which it's opposite. So like I said, start of battle phase, you get rid of the weak one by sending it back to your hand, and you bring out the stronger Dragonmaid. In this case, it'd be Dragonmaid Tinkheck. And you can use its effect if you want and stuff like that, but you mostly play it just for its big attack points and deal damage. And then at the end of the battle phase, I believe, yeah, it's here at the end of the battle phase, you can return this card to your hand and then bring back one of the weaker ones, either from your hand or your graveyard, allowing you to basically swap back and forth and keep the different monsters safe. Keep your weaker monsters safe and get out your bigger ones easier. Keeper of the Shrine, good for summoning my dragons. Marshmallow on. He's in here for some defensive power. Not great stats, but he is invincible when it comes to battle. Plus, if he's face down when an opponent first attacks him, they take 1,000 points of damage. Not a huge thing, but you know, I like it. Plus, I like having some cute fairy monsters in with the dragons. It's just hilarious when people are like, I'm playing dragons before they see my Dragonmaids, and it just sees up like this, and they're like, "What? How does that work with your dragons?" And it's like, "Fuck you. That's how it works." Cyberjar. I mean, any person who's played old school Yu-Gi-Oh knows Cyberjar. You know what I mean? It's it's a classic. It's wipes the field clean, lets you summon new monsters. Great for my strategy. Another Blue Eyes card, Dragon Spirit of White this time. He's able to help me summon out my Blue Eyes White Dragons, which, like I said, a lot of my combos, that's where it goes. It goes to Blue Eyes, and then Blue Eyes helps me do other stuff, or I increase Blue Eyes' power even more. Oh, nice. Another old school card, the Claw of Hermos. This will make more sense once you see my extra deck. But this is essentially a very specific polymerization card. There are 3 of them: Claw of Hermos, Fang of Critias, Eye of Timaeus. They're from the anime, and each one was given to one of the main characters. This one was Joey's card. He could combine it with other monsters to create like equip monsters. Like the most famous example is the Red Eyes Black Dragon sword. He used this on his Red Eyes and turned it into a sword, and then gave it to his Guilfrid of Lightning in order to beat Rex Raptor after he had gotten the power of the Orichalcos. The Monarch Storm Forth. This lets me tribute some of my opponent's monsters instead of my own, which is helpful for when I've got things like Blue Eyes and stuff in my hand. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. He is a great card for dragon decks. I can get him out really easily by banishing one of my dragons, and then I can just keep special summoning dragons from my graveyard in my hand over and over again, like every turn. Just keep on pumping them out. Real great card. Salt Wyvern's pretty helpful too. If I can get it to destroy a monster by battle, I can use it to special summon out one of my stronger dragons. And even without that, I mean, 1800's pretty decent beat stick. We got Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Another Blue Eyes card. Got Kaiser Seahorse. Obviously, he's here because he works as tribute for, or 2 tributes for a light monster, which basically every Blue Eyes monster is a light monster. White Stone of the Ancients. Or is it just, sorry, White Stone of Ancients, not of the Ancients. Tuner helps with synchro summons. I do have a couple of those in my extra deck. Like I said, we'll get to that after my main deck. Mostly, though, it's for summoning Blue Eyes White Dragon. Neo Kaiser Seahorse. Basically just the upgraded version of Kaiser Seahorse. I use both because it gives extra stuff, extra options by having both of them. And plus, he's another tuner monster. He's level 4 tuner, which can make him a little clunky, but he is still a tuner. And level 4 tuners are pretty good for me because I've got level 8 monsters. So, place him down, boost him with a level 4, and bam, there's level 8 synchro. Got Maiden of White. I don't know why I keep thinking there's the in the titles. I don't know. Another light tuner monster. good for summoning out blue eyes and stuff and doing different blue eyes things. A lot of my cards, like I said, they tie back into either blue eyes or they tie back into either my Dragonmaids. Food of Summoning Dragon. This is why I believe I have King of Dragons somewhere in here. Because this only works with Lord of Dragons, and Dictator of D is not Lord of D. So yeah, this obvious reasons lets me summon out 2 high-powered dragons. You've seen quite a few high-powered dragons already in my deck. Great card to use. Drowning Mirror Force. Similar to Mirror Force, but instead of destroying my opponent's monsters, it shuffles them back in. And this is only good for direct attacks, which, in my opinion, it's good to just have as a safety net. You know, it's good to have it face down, they declare direct attack, flip it up, all their monsters back to their deck. Here, this is one of the cards I was talking about, Fang of Critias. I don't use the Eye of Timaeus because I don't use Dark Magician cards, and the Eye of Timaeus was Yugi's card, which, you know, he only used it to make, like, Dark Magician. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe he didn't only make Dark Magician fusions with it. I don't remember what he did with it in the show. But in the game, it is, in the game, it is only used for Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, which I don't use because I'm using dragons. But this was Kaiba's card, so obviously I included it in my deck. He used it to to create more powerful dragons by fusing like his trap cards with his dragons. It was pretty cool. Speaking of, here's one of the things. Tyrant Wing. He combined his Tyrant Ring with his blue eyes and made like a Tyrant Wing blue eyes dragon, which which is in my extra deck. It just isn't made the same way. I'm pretty sure it's just made with like a blue eyes and a dragon, or it can be made with a blue eyes that has a Tyrant Wing. Alrighty, we got Dark Hole, pretty self-explanatory, wipes the field. Dragon Knight of Creation, mostly just there for extra damage, but he can help me send high-level dragons to the grave and stuff. Melody of Awakening Dragon. This is one of the cards of that explains why I have Dictator of D. Is because I can, oh, maybe it's not, oh, never mind. I thought this was one that it needed a spellcaster, but it's not. This is just, I can discard a dragon and get, like, a blue eyes to my hand, or a couple blue eyes to my hand, which it combines with the Flute of Summoning Dragons and my Lord of Dragons to summon out blue eyes, 2 blue eyes easily. We've got Majesty of the White Dragons. Another blue eyes card. Card Advance. That lets me that lets me draw extra cards, which is always helpful. Or not draw. I think I have to double check. It's not draw, is it? It's, yeah, look at and then place in any order, and then lets me tribute summon extra time. I was thinking draw 5 cards, but that's not draw 5 cards. I was thinking card destruction when I've got like a full hand. It just lets me reorganize the top of my deck and then do an extra tribute summon, which is helpful for my kind of deck. Dragonmaid Changeover works for any dragon fusion monster, which all of my fusion monsters are dragons. Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, just another version of Blue Eyes, can be used as Blue Eyes but has an effect. Blue Eyes Solid Dragon, another way to get out Blue Eyes. And it can negate monster effects. Biesto Magna Hut. This is another strong dragon monster. Whitestone of Legend, another tuner, lets me add my blue eyes to my hand. Monster Reborn, one of the reasons I like having my monsters in the graveyard. Bring them right back, basically no cost. Magic Cylinder, great to redirect attacks, and has won me quite a few duels actually, by just slamming them with their own attack. Fucking hilarious. Priceless move. King of D here, like I've been saying. His name counts as Lord of D while he's on the field, which lets him do anything that, Lord of D can do. Can also discard a spell or trap in order to add either my Melody of Awakening Dragons or my Flute of Dragons to my hand. 100 Dragon. Weaker version of 1000 Dragon, basically. It's like the middle step. There's Baby Dragon, then there's 1000 Dragon, but this is 100 Dragon in the middle. I can have it gain levels, which also has it gain attack points, which makes it good for like XC summons, as well as making it, just a stronger monster. Harpy's Feather Duster for clearing my opponent's back row. I always need something to clear back row, even if it doesn't get used all that often. Swords of Revealing Light. This is just a stall. Literally what this is. This is the stall card. If I am in shit, I play this and I hope to God I can fucking draw something good in 3 turns. Arcbrave Dragon. Good for summoning out higher level monsters. Or not high, I guess he is a high level monster, but good for summoning out my other dragons. One of my non-dragon monsters, Beast King Barbaros. I have this because I can play him without tributing if I want. He'll get weaker, but I can use him basically to like stall for time, or to use him as a sacrifice for something, for like a blue eyes if I need to. But there's also I can tribute. Oh, sorry, my hand's getting all shaky. Can also tribute 3 monsters to summon but not set it, which wipes my opponent's monsters off the field, which is always helpful. Wing Karibo. This card has saved my ass more times than I can count, and that is not even a joke. I cannot tell you how many times this little guy has been destroyed while in face down defense mode and saved the rest of my life points, only for me to have the perfect card to turn the game around next turn. It's great. This guy will go in any deck I make if it's my main deck, just because of how many times it's saved my ass. And I've had it since the original GX era. So, like, it's saved me quite a few times. Oh, another Dragonmaid here. Probably the last one should be. Late Laundry Dragonmaid. Then we've got her dragon form. Dragonmaid in Najarl. And and finally, my last Blue Eyes card. I like the ancient tablet in the back. It's the one from the show that tells like Yugi's past and stuff, or the Pharaoh's past. So that was my main deck. And this is the extra deck. These are the sleeves that we got for it. It's, like I said, it matches my deck box over here. Dark Magician Karibo. And in my extra deck, we have got up first Tyrant Burst Dragon. Has to be special summon with my Fang of Critias, using my Tyrant Wing trap card, which basically I play Fang of Critias, send my Tyrant Burst trap to the grave, or my Tyrant Wing to the grave. Tyrant Burst is the dragon. Tyrant Wing to the grave. And then I can play Tyrant Burst Dragon, which is pretty strong. I can equip a face-up monster with this monster, and it gains an extra 400 attack, and then can start making two or three attacks in each battle phase, which is pretty awesome. Equip this to Blue Eyes, and bam, I've got a monster that with 3,000 attack that can attack 3 times. Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This is the only Link monster I actually use. As far as I know, it's the only Blue Eyes White Dragon Link monster. Red Eyes Black Dragon Sword, which is the whole reason I have the Claw of Hermos. This thing is pretty OP. Not only can it be a monster, but when I play it, I can equip it to another monster, which then gives it an automatic 1,000 attack point boost, and then an extra 500 attack and defense for every single dragon on the field or in either player's graveyard. Which, with my deck, that's a lot of dragons that can just boost it. Like, it's crazy insane. Got Red Dragon Archfiend, one of my synchro monsters. Don't really like Jack Atlas, but Red Dragon Archfiend's a pretty strong monster. Not too difficult for me to get out with my deck. 3,000 attack points. And destroys all my opponent's monsters that defend and stuff. Like, it's pretty good. Good for wiping out when your opponent's trying to stall. We've got number 32, Shark Drake. I used to use a lot of number cards. I'm a big number card fan. I like collecting them. But I started getting better cards, Blue Eyes options, stuff like that. Sorry, I had to itch my nose. I was trying not to put the card down and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty... I like this one because he's able to attack multiple times and deal like lots of damage. Blue Eyes, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Just an upgraded version of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I wanted to use, since I was using Blue Eyes, I figured I might as well use the Ultimate Dragon. But I didn't want to use the original because it's just a 4,500 beat stick. This has extra like abilities and stuff. Got my Mirror Force Dragon, which works the same as my Tyrant Burst Dragon. I play Fang Critias, sent Mirror Force to the graveyard, and bam, we've got Mirror Force Dragon. Which, when a monster I control is targeted for an attack, basically works like Mirror Force and destroys all my opponent's monsters. This is a newer card, Indigo Eyes Silver Dragon. As far as I know, the only Blue Eyes themed Xyz monster. 2 level 8 dragons, 4,000 attack points. It's a pretty good card. And when I saw that he finally got an Xyz monster, I was like, yes, I love Xyz way more than Synchro, so I'm definitely adding that to my deck. More Dragonmaids. We got House Dragonmaid. She's basically the leader of the Dragonmaids. Their strongest, 3,000 attack points. And this is just her human form. Obviously, just like the others, she's got a dragon form, Dragonmaid Shio, with 3,500 attack points. Then we've got another three-headed Blue Eyes. This one is Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Another Synchro monster. But it's a bit more of a pain to summon, since I need a non-tuner Blue Eyes as well as 2 or more tuners. But its effect makes up for it. Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon or 1 Dragon Monster. Can either be fusion summoned with the materials I just mentioned, or you can special summon it from my deck if I have a Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with a fusion monster. So basically, if I have my Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with the Tyrant Burst Dragon that I mentioned from before, I can send them to the grave and play this instead, which is an upgraded version of both of those cards together. Both those cards together can attack multiple times and has 400 attack points, but this is basically all that rolled into one. Plus, it can attack all of my opponent's monsters instead of just attacking like 2 or 3 times. Then we've got Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Can attack multiple times in one battle phase, can't be destroyed by battle, and if it battles a monster and that monster is not destroyed, it can banish that shit. I think it's banishment. Yeah, banish that opponent's monster. I'm one of those people who reads their cards as they're playing. So like I know what my cards do. I just get the wording wrong sometimes because I'll literally when I go to use an effect, I'll read the like effect out to the person. Not enough people read their cards nowadays. Got the Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. Basically just, another version of the Ultimate Dragon. Different effects. Same stat total. And finally, Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. I've had this since Synchros like first came out. This was the first card that Blue Eyes got, as a Synchro anyways, to boost him. Lets me summon my normal monsters, good for defense. Not a bad monster. And finally, we have got my side deck. Now, these are not in sleeves because, it's a side deck. I figure if anything that's getting swapped into, like, my main deck or whatever, I can just slip that card out of its sleeve and then put the card from my side deck in there, instead of having to also have my side deck and sleeves and stuff. We've got the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. Basically just a Blue Eyes trap card, in case I need some extra support to do some different shit. I think this one actually can help me ritual summon, maybe? I know one of my cards can. No, that's just extra protection. Scapegoat. Basically Scapegoat, but a monster card. Tuner. Definitely helps with my synchro summons if I need it. Plus, like I said, it's got the effect of Scapegoat, Except, Scapegoat, you would, just play it, then you play your 4 tokens, and you can't summon anything else for the rest of the turn. But Scapegoat is face down, flip face up. Now I can special summon 4 tokens to defend myself. You got Sage with Eyes of Blue. Another light tuner monster that that goes with Blue Eyes. Just in case I need to reach into my synchros a bit more, or I need some extra help with certain combos. That you guys know what side decks are for if you play Yu-Gi-Oh. Red Eyes Black Dragon. This is mostly just in here because I used to use it in my main deck, but I replaced it with other better cards, and I didn't really want to get rid of it because I've used like the Red Eyes Black Dragon sword and stuff. So it's more nostalgia, or if anything. Protector with Eyes of Blue. Another tuner with some Blue Eyes support. Penguin Soldier. If I ever need to bounce some extra cards back to my opponent's hand, or I need to stall for time, Penguin Soldier is pretty good. How do you ask probably, how does Penguin Soldier stall for time? Well, if it's on the field and they don't attack it, like they choose another monster to attack, or you have like Swords Revealing Light to prevent them from attacking, I can flip this up and send it back to my hand as well as one of their monsters, and then play it again. That usually helps only with like high level monsters. It can keep high level monsters off the field because now they gotta do another combo or whatever to get that monster back on the field. Lady's Dragonmaid. She does not have a dragon form as far as I'm aware. Her effect's alright. It's just not as good as the other Dragonmaid fusions, so I only have it in my side deck instead of my main extra deck. Crystal Dragon. Once per... I'm not even going to bother reading the effect. Sorry, I was about to read the effect for some reason. But Crystal Dragon, lets me get out high-level monsters by adding them to my hand and stuff. Keeper of Dragon Magic. I used to have this in my decks. I used to use like an actual like polymerization or like fusion card that this thing could add to my hand. Now it's just kind of here as like a beat stick, and if I basically that's it. If I ever need like extra attack power, I feel like my monsters aren't doing enough, or maybe I need an extra level 4 for like Xyz summons or synchro summons, that's always helpful. Exploder Dragon, pretty obvious why he's here. He's basically a suicide monster. I could throw him down, attack something big, blow them both up, or set him as a trap. Electromagnetic Turtle. I just thought the card was kind of neat. I like how he looks, but can also use him to stall for time. I can get rid of him from my graveyard and stuff and end the battle phase. And then we have Draw of Fate. Basically, you get to become the protagonist of the TV show. Pick 3 different cards in your deck, shuffle them, draw. Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. In case I want to do some ritual summons, we've got this, as well as Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. I like Blue Eyes, so I thought I might as well throw them in my extra deck, or my side deck, I mean. And same with this card. Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. I didn't really like how the effect sounded, but it is a Blue Eyes. Oh, it is a Blue Eyes card. So, since I didn't have anything else I wanted in my side deck, it got thrown in there. So this video ended up being way longer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was only going to be like a few minutes showing off my deck and stuff. It's been 43 minutes. So, that's going to be it, guys. Enjoy the deck list, I guess. If you have any questions about my deck, leave them in the comments. I'll answer them. And, tell me about your decks, too, if you want. I like trading card games. I'm all for that kind of stuff. So, that's going to be it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.